Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this weekend.
Good evening and thank you for watching News 8 Now this weekend. I'm Brooklyn Hine. The city of La Crosse is declaring a snow emergency. The emergency is bringing alternate side parking into effect for 2 days. The 48-hour period just began at 6 o'clock this evening. The snow emergency expires on Monday at 6 p.m., but may be canceled or extended as needed. For additional information or questions, call the police department or police parking utility at 608-789-7295. Now, there are multiple area cancellations due to the weather conditions. The Light Over North La Crosse fireworks display is canceled tonight. The Rotary Lights carriage rides are also canceled for today, but rescheduled for Sunday at 5 p.m. English Lutheran Church canceled their 5:30 p.m. Saturday service, along with the 8:30 a.m. service on Sunday morning. However, the church will hold a service at 10:45 a.m. on Sunday morning. Bethel Lutheran Church in Viroqua also canceled tomorrow's service and Sunday school. The Lansing Ferry connecting Iowa and Wisconsin is also closed today. The Lansing Car Ferry staff says it's closed due to these weather conditions. Snow removal is planned for the ferry landings, and officials say the ferry will begin normal services Sunday at 7 a.m. if weather permits. You can find the latest updates at 511ia.org. There are locations in the area to pick up salt and sand mix for residents to help treat those slick sidewalks and driveways. Pickups are at Veterans Freedom Park, Erickson Baseball Field, Hood Street and Marco Drive, and Shelby Baseball Field. For a full list of location addresses, visit our website at news8000.com.
Well, we're starting to see snow rates pick up a little bit this evening as the surface low gets closer to the area, which is now in northern Illinois. So you're going to start seeing more like a 0.6, 0.7 per hour rate. Once you hit 1 inch per hour, you're really bringing snow down pretty good. But you look at the cameras right now, visibility is a little worse at Eau Claire than La Crosse and Winona. But still, the good thing was noted, the winds remain light too for the most part, unlike some previous systems. There's your snow totals. This is not ground truth. This radar indicated, so some of these may low or high, but the darker blue you can see is actually where you're seeing 5 to 6 in northeast Iowa. That kind of stretches up into parts of Wisconsin. And then as you go further south, the Prairie du Chien area into maybe Grant County, Wisconsin, they picked up 10 inches. So overall, these continue to come up, and we still got a good 6 to 7 hours of accumulating snow. There's your visibility right now where you get a half mile or less a half mile, you're picking up moderate to heavy. Most of it's still light to occasional moderate. Radar doesn't pick up a lot of it. The heavier is just to the south of southern Wisconsin, but as you zoom in, you can kind of see down towards this area. There's your road covers over Decorah. That's pretty much covered roads. As you go further north, you can see the snow coming down, and ridgeline overall still light to occasional moderate. You can see Preston getting half a mile. And as you go further north, it's less and less likely you're going to see moderate snow, but occasionally it does dip down. As you can see, Eau Claire 0.5, and that's the Menominee area on I-90, indicating you do have snow on the road, but overall not too bad of conditions. So later on, we'll kind of break down what it looks like for the rest of the night. And then we still got blowing and drifting, and we got a long cold stretch ahead of it too. So we'll break all that down a bit later.
All right, it sounds like we've officially hit winter.
It's going to be winter, and we got a cold start and snowy start to December too.
All right, thank you, Greg. And a reminder, when traveling, you can track weather with the First Warn Weather app. Find it at the App Store or Google Play. And as you're driving this weekend, remember to stay cautious on those roads. The snowy and icy conditions have been causing some traffic troubles already. One car was flipped upside down onto its roof. The car was just west of West Salem on I-90 just before 9 a.m. this morning. Santa Claus is paying a visit to Valley View Mall this weekend. The Jolly Fellow arrived this morning with a parade through the mall. Families enjoyed live music, face painting, and holiday crafts, all while telling Santa what is on their Christmas list this year.
Kids love seeing Santa, seeing all the stories come to life that they hear in the books and from everybody else.
Families could even take professional photos with Santa himself, making memories and starting out the holiday season with Christmas spirit. River City Wrestling Academy is hosting a Train for a Day camp today in Sparta, giving participants a chance for a hands-on introduction to the fundamentals of professional wrestling from experienced trainers. The camp is designed for anyone who has dreamed of being a pro wrestler or just wants to see for themselves what life is like as a pro.
They get a small snippet of what we would do on day one, and then from there, if they leave the camp and they decide, hey, it's not really for me. You know, I appreciate the opportunity. Or on the other side, they might say, hey, I really enjoyed this, and I definitely am more focused than ever that I want to become a professional wrestler.
Organizers say this could be some participants' first step to becoming a pro wrestler. The Trump administration is pausing all asylum decisions in the wake of the shooting of 2 members of the National Guard earlier this week. CBS News' Weijia Jiang has the latest.
In the wake of the shooting of 2 members of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, the Trump administration is directing the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to pause all asylum decisions. The president posted on Truth Social he will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. The announcement comes after the president repeatedly criticized the Biden administration's immigration policies.
There's a problem because so many bad ones came in on the planes. They just walked in. Whoever the strongest people were physically in a way, but whoever the strongest, they got on the planes. There was no checking.
The suspected gunman has been identified as Rahmanullah Lakanwal, an Afghan national living in Washington state. He served alongside U.S. troops in Afghanistan and was allowed to move to the U.S. in 2021 through a Biden-era program called Operation Allies Welcome. The changes to the nation's asylum policy came as West Virginia residents gathered to mourn the death of National Guard specialist Sarah Beckstrom, who was killed.
Nothing but caring, loving, willing to help somebody, anything out of her way to help somebody get through it.
In another White House development, CBS News has learned that Secretary of State Marco Rubio and other U.S. delegates will meet with Ukrainian officials here in Florida on Sunday.
The meeting comes in the wake of a deadly Russian attack on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, on Saturday. President Trump had previously hoped to hammer out a deal to bring Russia's war with Ukraine to an end by Thanksgiving. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Still to come, studies say the way someone drives could show if they're at risk for cognitive decline. We'll have more medical news following the break.
Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
The holiday deal dash is officially underway, from Black Friday blowouts to Cyber Monday steals. So how much are shoppers gearing up to spend this year? Christine Lazar has your Eye on Consumer report.
Shoppers have kicked off the Super Bowl of holiday spending from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. A new retail survey from Deloitte finds more than 80% of people said they'd be making purchases during these shopping events. The National Retail Federation projects a record turnout for the 5-day stretch between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday, with 186.9 million shoppers, up from 183.4 million last year. However, overall holiday sales growth is expected to slow as people cut back on spending compared to prior years. One reason for that, tariffs. According to LendingTree, had tariffs been in place in 2024, Americans would have had to shell out $40.6 billion more on their holiday shopping. That's an extra $132 more per person. Holiday shopping involves a significant amount of imported goods, 88% of clothing, 69% of electronics, and 54% of toys, now all subject to tariffs. A bipartisan group of senators is urging the FTC and SEC to investigate Meta after reports that the company allegedly earns up to $16 billion a year from ads promoting scams and banned goods. Meta says it's working to reduce ad fraud and has removed more than 130 million pieces of scam content this year. Cybersecurity experts warn of an increase in online scams during the holiday season and urge shoppers to trace social media ads to reputable retailers before buying. And that's your Eye on Consumer report. I'm Christine Lazar, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And in today's top medical news, chemicals used in common pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides may do harm to your gut health. A University of Cambridge study tested over 1,000 chemical contaminants and found many have a toxic effect on gut bacteria that are vital to keeping the body running smoothly. Disrupting the bacteria can lead to digestive problems, obesity, and even harm the immune system and mental health. Another study shows that the way someone drives could show if they're at risk for cognitive decline. Researchers at Washington University School of Medicine found how we drive is an indicator of brain health. People with mild cognitive impairment, which is a precursor to Alzheimer's, were found to drive less, especially at night, and tended to stick to familiar routes. Researchers say this could be used to identify drivers at risk for Alzheimer's before they have an accident. Also making medical headlines, drinking coffee daily could slow the biological aging of people with severe mental illness. A study in Norway found drinking as many as 3 or 4 cups of coffee daily had a beneficial effect for people with psychosis, schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder. While the cause of the anti-aging effect isn't clear, the study's authors say it could be the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds found in coffee. More news ahead, but first.
Unfortunately, as the snow comes to end, our temperatures are not going to improve. We're going to have a cold stretch that will extend all the way through next weekend. So we'll break down how much snow is left and what those temperatures look like coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break. Yeah, we still got the alert day going all the way through tomorrow morning, and it's really tomorrow. It still could be some issues with the drifting of the snow. I think more than blowing, higher elevations, ridge lines, and exposed areas. That may be a lingering problem. The snow will continue overnight. Once again, this is a long duration event. It's not like a typical winter storm where you'd get maybe 6 hours of heavier snow and then it moves on. This is more like 12, even 15 hours of light, occasional moderate snow that piles up over time, and that's what we'll continue to see throughout the night. It will start to decrease or at least improve in visibility and less snow as we go past midnight, although it won't really wrap up snow-wise until we get there. There's your winter storm warnings for pink. That means up to 12 inches, even more. The advisories are for lesser amounts. These are out till 6 a.m. They may be extended as advisories tomorrow just because of that drifting or blowing problem, as it is breezy conditions out there. So that's something to keep in mind if you're traveling. Roads will still have some issues, even though we'll see some melting potentially going on in roads tomorrow, given that we'll be in the mid to upper 20s too. And you can see this overall if you look at travel impacts. Really the worst conditions, the snowiest roads, the worst visibility is right now to about midnight or just afterwards. We'll slowly improve the visibility as we get towards tomorrow morning. There will be, I think, enough sunlight or enough warmth out there. We will have some sun in the afternoon and temperatures in the upper 80s that I think any salt in the roads will make them more wet for at least a period of time. The main roads as we go through Sunday, and it will get colder out there, but that's what we're looking at too. So tomorrow better, but overall not great still on some roads, especially the side roads, less traveled roads that will still be probably snow covered. Here's the additional mounts. We could see 2 to 4, generally more. There will be pockets that could get into that 4 to 6 or even higher range depending on how this band sets up, but that is beginning to shift further east overall. So the more you go further west, it's more going to be just light snow. The wind will start picking up, but overall still everybody's going to see another at least 2 to 4 and potentially more. As we look at the visibility right now, just remember if you're above a mile, it's generally light snow. If you're down to a quarter to a half, it's moderate. And if you're less than that, it's heavy. We don't see a lot of that low visibility where the heavy snow will be falling. Well, occasionally we get to moderate snow, and most of the time we're in light snow. But overall, we've seen a lot more moderate type snow occurring this evening as the snow rate begins to pick up, as that low now is in northern Illinois as the system slowly pushes northeastward. So that's what we're going to see. This is the visibility. As you notice, we're going to be generally in that 1 to 2, and occasionally over the time frame we might see some of those darker blues, which means we get down to close to a half. But as we get closer to midnight, it becomes less of the darker blue and more of the lighter shade, and then by the time we get to midnight, you start seeing breaks in this precipitation, and the visibilities overall start to see some improvements. Even Decorah starts to come back up a little bit, and occasionally it'll come back down as you see some areas will continue to see that 2 to 3. When you're in that range, you're not going to see a lot of snow accumulation. You will pick up some. It's got to get down to about 1 mile to really pick up a certain amount of accumulation. 4 p.m. you can start seeing it really becomes just a little bit of a narrow band, and then overall as we get past 6 a.m. it's generally some very light snow, light flurries that'll persist all the way to about 10, and then by the afternoon visibility improves. We'll see a little bit of sun. That north wind, you see those blue arrows, will still be going on, so that drifting of the snow will be potentially an issue. But we will see some sun towards the afternoon. It won't feel that wood. And then towards the evening, clearing skies, but then cloud cover comes quickly back in Sunday night because you have another system that'll be approaching the area. Now, overnight lows today, you'll see in the 20s. Tomorrow's highs, not much improvement here. Low to mid 20s occasionally. We could see a little bit warmer conditions, but it's going to be a cold night. And then we go to Monday, a lot of cloud cover. Cold conditions, temperatures upper teens, low 20s. Remember, we should be in the 30s this time of year. There will be a few flurries potentially as the system comes through Monday and Monday night. But as you note this, the stronger system stays to the south as we go to Monday and Monday night. This one will stay to our south. We'll be on the northern edge of it, so we will see maybe potentially some flurries or light snow, especially further south to go, but don't expect any accumulation for Monday night as that system stays well to the south. Overall, the big theme for next week is cold, as we'll go sub-zero on probably Wednesday night to Thursday morning. Some areas may get close to 10 below given the snowpack in place, and other snow-wise, the snow chances Friday and Saturday are pretty light too. So it's going to be a cold week, mainly dry, some snow chances, nothing like we're seeing right now. So definitely winter is here, and it looks like it's going to be a while.
Sure, it sounds like if you haven't broke out your coat yet and your boots,
it's pretty much now
get
the
them
time,
out.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, the UW Lacrosse Eagles on the road for round 2 of the D3 playoffs. Plus, the Wisconsin Badgers looking to end the season on a high note as they took on the Minnesota Gophers. Kate has the highlights after the break.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports with Kate Overton.
The college football postseason is underway in the Division III level. The UW Lacrosse Eagles, they had a first-round bye. Now they're going on the road to Michigan for a matchup against Hope College, a spot in the 3rd round on the line. So let's go there. It was cold, it was snowy, and it was playing a factor early on. Scoreless in the 2nd quarter. Hope going for it on 4th down, but that pass is deflected at the line. Christian Powell swats it away. Turnover on downs. Eagle offense unable to capitalize. Facing a 3rd and 6, but Kyle Haas is brought down. A big sack. UWL forced to punt. 11 combined punts in the first half, but after the break, the Eagles strike. The handoff to Gabe Lynch up the middle and in. PAT no good. Eagles take a 6-0 lead. Then on their next drive, Michael Stack looking to make it a 2-possession game. Field goal is good. UWL up 9. Hope trying to fight back late in the 4th. Alex Toll connects with Sky Vanderkyle. It's a 2-point game. Then on UWL's next drive on 3rd and 10, Haas scrambling, but he's brought down. A huge sack gives the Dutchman a chance. 1 minute to go on 4th and 3, but that pass is going nowhere. Eagles, they hold on 9-7. The final, doing some fun snow angels there celebrating. But it wasn't pretty, but a win is a win during the playoffs. Just 10 first downs and 210 yards of total offense. But that defense was dominant, and the offense made enough plays to win the game. The Eagles will now go on the road to take on the defending champions, North Central. A battle for the axe in Minnesota. Snow everywhere in this one. Gophers up 3 in the second half, 3rd and 4. And Darius Taylor takes the handoff, hits the hole. He's got daylight, 50 yards to the house. Minnesota goes up 10. Badgers trying to answer on 3rd and 6. Hunter Simmons lets it fly, connects with Vinny Anthony down the sideline, trying to score, but he's brought down inside the 5. Then later on 4th and goal, Simmons rolling out, and he's going to find Jackson Aker toe tapping in the end zone. Badgers pull within 3. Second half, Wisconsin in the red zone. Simmons with all kinds of time, but that pass is picked off into the hands of John Nestor, and Nestor has room to run down the sideline, finally brought down at the 15-yard line, and then a few plays later, Minnesota on 3rd and 7. Drake Lindsay to the end zone, and it's caught. Jamison Gears comes down with it. Gophers go up 10. And that's how it would end. Minnesota has won the Paul Bunyan Axe for the 4th time in the last 5 years. That'll do it for sports. We'll be right back.
All right, we still have moderate snow probably until about midnight. This will probably pick up a lot of accumulation. After midnight, it becomes more light snow, and then Sunday breezy, so there will be some drifting of the snow that could potentially still cause some issues, but we will see some sunshine. Otherwise, cold is a story for next week with some minor snow chances, but it definitely wintertime is here.
Drive safe out there.
Yes, definitely. All right, thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10.